Are you self-funded or partially self-funded, or are you fully funded?
We just have regular insurance.
Okay,
We
so-
do not, the town does not have any type of supplement.
Okay. Even with that, there's a possibility then we could work with the carrier or the agent as well to be able to work that, so that way.
It's like a wellness program type.
It's not necessarily, it would be primary care, it'd be a capitation of primary care. And so in other words, we would be able to, again, if you had an employee that needed primary care, because that's what primary care is here. If it's specialty, obviously, that's something that would go to the ancillary facilities.
They needed blood work or stuff.
If they needed blood work, I mean, we could even arrange to have prescriptions.
Is it similar to what Purdue uses Premise for as
Very much.
wellness? Yeah.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we have Dilling. Dilling in town uses our Express Med as a clinic.
Right.
And so what they do is their employees come in, they show their card, and the employee doesn't pay anything, and then we bill Dilling for those charges, whether it's blood work or whether it's the office visit, and then that goes, so there's a lot of savings in the nature of administrative costs, the TPA cost, the agent costs, so there's some savings that are allowable there. So there's some alternatives, I guess, to having another clinic brought in. And
Would it be beneficial for us to bring in other groups, like, say, the county employees? I mean, if it's something,
sure, because that way, again, it's similar to a group. The more you bring in, the lower it's going to have the cost.
I would be interested in seeing the numbers and stuff.
Okay.
If you could put something together.
Yeah, and I know you guys may be under the wire. Sounds like you have a 12/1
Yeah,
renewal.
nothing like getting that sprung on us right beforehand that we can't talk about after tonight. That'll work out.
But again, even if you do go ahead and you decide to renew, this is something that could be brought in outside of your renewal date, and implemented at any time.
Well, and I think it also, with the changes in healthcare too, it's not, we ought to be exploring our options, because we know it's gonna change with the national election going the way it's going. But the other municipalities and the county, or whatever, the local Carroll County folks, if we could incorporate it somehow. Today at EDC, they announced that IU Health is pulling out of Delphi. So Logansport Memorial came up, but it was made clear that we didn't want to jeopardize what we have here, So we're very proud to have you guys here and want to keep you. So.
And we're grateful to be here in the community, and we, between Linda and Dr. Anderson, we love caring for your community.
Yeah, regional health care is on the horizon, I think.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see something.
Okay. Is it okay then, because some of the information will need some census data to show, I guess, how many belly buttons or lives you have on the plan that you would be covering, some of the primary care numbers, things like that. So is it okay if I contact the broker to get that information, or how would I go about getting some of that? And again, it would just be some preliminary data to come up with numbers, because that's what you're going to want to see. You're going to want to see how much it would cost, and to do that, we would need some numbers.
You mean like how many employees?
How many
you got?
employees, how many
spouses?
spouses, how many children, so a census?
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
that.
So we're looking at 5?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, she meant what.
Oh.
If you potentially.
Oh, if we,
If
okay.
potentially.
I like you meant now,
That's something
that's
that
easy.
Glenda could answer.
That, yes, I mean, that's something that he had brought up to Pat, that we weren't
Okay.
aware of,
Okay.
and then feel free, I mean, that's his.
Is it all right if we contact him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
Definitely.
tell you, we know what we have.
Fine.
I'd be glad to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be up to him if he can give you that information, but we have a very limited base here, just a small towns only.
Okay.
But yeah, if we could
But
get
if we can
if
make
we could
use
get
of
a
our
few
building
on
and
board,
make it
then
bigger, that's, yeah,
bigger and better.
Yeah, and bring more services there, that'd be good.
for that.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
New business, appointment reports. I got down here Mr. Everett Snowberger.
Okay. I just wanted to report, because I haven't been to the town board meetings for quite a while, what's going on in the Area Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals. Just so you'll know, the Area Planning Commission has started revising or combining, I guess is a better term, all of the zoning ordinances into a single document. They've hired an outside firm to do this. They're going to bring everything such as the normal zoning ordinance, the flood ordinance, the wind towers, hardland overlay, borrow pits, etc., and put that into one comprehensive document. There'll be no revisions done to it, necessary editorial revisions such as spelling errors or instances where regulations in the Indiana Code have been referenced and they've been repealed and new codes have taken place in their place, so they'll be bringing that up to date. So that's what's happening presently. Next year, sometime, don't know exactly when, the Area Planning Commission plans to start the revision of the zoning ordinance. And in the existing ordinances, there are many things that need to be fixed. They had initiated a revised or new zoning ordinance that they wanted to put in about 2-3 years ago. And it met pretty massive resistance from the general public because there were a lot of things in the ordinance that were wrong, things that needed corrected. And they had, the steering committee that prepared it said, we need to adopt it, then read it, then determine what needs to be changed afterwards. You know, kind of like our healthcare thing got pushed through. And we see how well that worked out. But consequently, that's coming up down the road. The Area Planning Commission most probably will have some kind of community group to give input onto that. And I think it's pretty important that the town be very vocal on input. So those are two things that are going with the Area Planning Commission. Also, at the last meeting for the Area Planning Commission, they were talking about communities such as Burlington, Florida, that have their own zoning ordinances. And the question came up to whether Camden had officially adopted the countywide zoning ordinance. And so I wanted to present that, you know, and make sure that we presently do have it adopted.
Did you want a copy of that when it was adopted?
No, I don't need a copy. I just pass it along to make sure that.
Is that on the website? Can you see that there?
No, I'm not sure.
All right,
I'd have
we'll
to
check.
check.
When the county does create a new zoning ordinance, the town of Camden will have several options. You'll be able to adopt the old and continue the old ordinance as it stands. You'll be able to adopt the new one if you like. You'll be able to adopt the new one with revisions or whatever. And or the town could possibly come up with their own. So those are a couple, you know, like 3-4 different options that you could take a look at. And the other thing is that there's been a lot of discussion about building inspector for the county, for the city of Delphi, potentially for the county and stuff. And don't know how that will all play out, just bringing this up to date. The big question is that a building inspector is adopted and the town of Camden goes along with it. You know, I imagine he'll probably be expected to pay part of his salary and stuff. But you have to keep in mind that if you have somebody to enforce the rules, then, you know, for instance, you have buildings that are deemed unsafe, the town of Camden would then have to have the responsibility and budgets, et cetera, to go along to condemn and demolish such buildings. And that might turn out to be buildings that you don't want demolished. So, you know, if you have the enforcement mechanism, you have to be prepared for the consequences. So that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions.
Good. Thank you. Keep us posted. Don't let them slide anything in on it's over.
Okay.
Okay.
You got a
Go
question?
ahead, Jason.
Go ahead.
Just for, I don't know if it falls under the appointment things, but the 911 appointment
Yeah.
from Elm, they had their quarterly meeting. The only thing that was significant out of there was the fact that the county did buy a new CAD system. They're hoping to have it up and running by the first of the year.
No one they were looking at?
Yes.
Oh, good. I like the sound of that one.
Or-
The 911 systems.
They did purchase it.
The cats.
Well, yeah, they have not signed any contracts with the CAD people as of yet. It's all been approved through the council. It's gonna be tremendous benefit for all emergency services inside the county.
Great.
Good.
I wondered if we were gonna do that.
Jerry, got anything for us?
We had an inspection from IDEM, their sanitary survey, been Monday. Everything went well. As soon as I get the complete report, I'll turn it over to you guys so you can take a look at it. I also talked to him about the North Ball Diamonds out there at the park, about them moving the tractor pull out there. They didn't have a problem with that as long as it sat back past the 100-foot setback. And of course, I've talked to a couple of people since then, and it doesn't sound like it'll be quite far enough
Yeah.
because they're wanting to run it at an angle across there. I was originally under the impression they were gonna run it east and west.
Still not long enough.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that, yeah.
Ken, you're up.
Take 2 or 3 minutes of your time, sorry about that.
Oh, you're okay.
Right on time. Last council meeting we had,
I saw this once.
yeah, kinda got back up there.
You seen that thing?
At the last council meeting, Mr. Surveyor, county surveyor was here, we were to go back and redefine that issue with the storm pipe, which drains more than half of Camden. The first page is the delineation of the area on the ground. So that entire area that's in the pink there, that all contributes to that storm drain and ends up at the outfall where the owl diamond is. And the basic characteristics on page 2, you can look through that at your leisure. And then on page 3 is the proposed project. We requested to be placed on the 7th of November drainage board meeting,
Did you say November?
November 7th. I'll attend that. And we've come up with, to repair the blue area, it'd be about $80,000. So you'd have several options.
Is that over the hill?
Yeah. There's no sense in band-aiding that. The pipe's 100 years old, it's reinforced concrete. If you replace it in one area, you're gonna replace it in another pretty soon. So you have an option. If you're gonna spend $80,000, if you spend another 40, you can get a grant for 500,000. So the total match would be 120, and you can get 500. Then you could do all the projects that are shown on this page. The only issue would then be how do we come up with $120,000? We have several issues. One would be the county takes it over and assesses everybody in town. It'd be about $10 a year for now on. Option 2 would be you take it over, come up with funding between the farmers and yourselves, or grants. You can get a grant to match your grant. Or then there'd be a combination of you take over the town's portion and then they would assess the property owners outside town and turn that money over to you. Option 2 and 3 would not result in a monthly charge to your residents. You could just find the money in your local budget. It'd be a few thousand a year over 10 or 15 years with the contributions to the property owner. Then you could fix it and do it upright and more than half your town's range would be in good shape again.
You're talking about going, that would fix the green and the blue,
Green, blue, and a lot of the red.
a lot of the red.
Yeah, you've got a couple of storm basins tied in at the school right now. Jerry saw them.
How's that work where the school is? I mean, I see that's right, is that under the building? I know we talked about it once.
What do you mean? I don't know, I can't see what you're looking at, but there shouldn't be anything underneath.
Well, it just says it's the red, it just shows Camden School, is it to the side of the building?
Yes, to the side of the building, they have drains
Oh,
going.
okay, I was gonna say, cause that was rerouted years
Yeah.
ago.
Right, it's not gonna cause any major, that was,
No, but when we smoke tested the sanitary, it was coming on the storm drains, so those storm drains are tied into the sanitary. So we could take care of things like that we found all throughout the study. So that's where we are on this, on the 7th of November. I just needed your direction on what your preference would be. Would you ask this county to take it over and then be charged an assessment? Would you want to take it over and then collect any assessment they receive?
If they take it over and charge assessment, don't they have to build the money up before they can repair it?
It's gonna be a while.
That's what I'm saying.
You're exactly right.
right. And he's dealt with the whole down there for a year.
Well, I understand, but I'm just saying that option there is gonna be, even though they start hey, it's gonna take a while, there's no money
It's
in the
long
fund,
term.
there's no fund
Right.
there now.
You have two chances next year to get a grant. Round one is in February, March, round two is in July,
What?
August.
The option you said something about there's a grant to supplement the grant,
We-
how's that work?
We could go after a grant from the Farmers Home Community Facilities Program, they may give you $25,000-$30,000. And then they would loan you the rest over a period of 20 or 30 years. That would certainly be a quarter of it. And then the property owners outside contributed part of that, and that would be, another quarter to a half. And then Camden itself, through its budget, you have a Cracker Jack treasurer that can make money out of there, so.
What the,
If you could find money from, how do you fund storm sewers now? You take it out of rainy day fund, you take it out of the highway,
We have a-
general fund.
We have storm sewer, we do have the tax on it.
So, take some money out of that, in addition to the grant and property owner contribution. That way you would avoid, assessing all the residents each.
what type of money do we
Yeah.
have in reserve
In the,
available?
So over 20 years, it'd be about $1,000, you
I'm
said,
just
in
saying.
A couple thousand a year.
a year.
Tens of thousands?
well, how did you want to go?
But I have,
I've been-
I have somewhat of an issue with, I mean, a lot of this is on the Crike, $80,000 improvement on the Crike property.
Well, yeah, you're outside of
And
town.
I have
Right.
some kind of issue with that.
Yeah.
They should have to
That we
kick
shouldn't,
in.
the town of Camden, even though our water runs through that drain.
Yeah, it's
That's
actually
the
county
issue.
drain.
It's a county drain, they're gonna come back and say everybody's responsible for it, and then they'll assess everybody, so.
Well, but I'm saying that for us to take on the whole project at $5.5 million.
No, certainly they would have to contribute to that 120,000 match if you chose to go after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, to see what our portion would be.
Right.
So at the meeting on the 7th, what would your preference to the drainage board be? Take over the assessment and work with the property owners to contribute their share?
We'd have to talk to Dean about that, I mean, that seems like the most logical route, we'll have to try to work with him.
And you have some property owners north as well.
Right, well, yeah. I know that's what
I could set a meeting up.
Tractor pulls here.
we're doing. Yeah, exactly, that'd be a struggle there. Yeah. But I think that's gonna be your best route, is to set a meeting up with them and let them know what we're up against.
Do we have issues on the north side?
We have some issues where the pipe is just old,
But our main issue is this blue section
The
here.
blue section, the green section isn't the best of shape, and there's a number of issues in that red section in town.
North side of what, Mark? North side of the school?
Town here,
Town.
on this north.
Is that out, that's out through the park right there?
Yep.
Now, that was replaced in the early 80s from Washington Street north out through the park, clear out to the back side of the park. That was replaced roughly, actually 70, I was working part-time, I believe, at that time. It would have been about either 78 or 79.
And you're saying that the $500,000 would replace it all?
$500,000 would put you in good shape. It'll take care of the problem, the crack property, the green area there, will take care of that, and it would allow you to disconnect storm basins from the sanitary and do some other improvements with catch basins and pipe repair. So I guess it just,
Do you have a quote on the green space? I mean,
well, down at the, I had the numbers and I made a mistake on it. The
That's
numbers, the total thing, 80,000 for the crack, 60,000 for the green area, and the remainder would be in the red area.
Okay.
So outside of town, we're looking at 140,000, is that correct?
No,
See, this
is in
is
the town.
some of the
It's in
six,
town.
like 30,000.
Well, that's what that is.
But then this up here is the other.
Right here.
Yeah, but oh,
This is the town boundary
Yes,
here.
yes, it's
This
right.
is
Okay.
So you've got a
half
portion
that
that's in
green
town.
is in town.
Thank you.
A little over probably.
oh.
I don't know.
So I guess I'd ask permission to set a meeting up with the property owners, go after a grant.
Are you sure about that property, or town limits, the
Yes.
corporate boundaries?
And I'm pretty sure we are, but I'll double check it. That's what all the,
Is this
I
the
think that's too
gravel
far
pit here,
south.
yes,
the large pond?
yeah.
That's even worse.
That's all surface drainage, we don't have to worry about that, you only flash in there, it's all,
Off the hillside?
it's all going downhill. I'll get an aerial pat and show you exactly where
Church
it is.
Street.
I can look at it, I can on
Yeah.
GIS. and look
Yeah.
at it.
That's gonna be close.
This is where they put in the speed bumps.
Yeah, but and then we're dropping south.
This
And then
is
this
75, this is Crab's Field down
And
So
this
you're
is
wanting
where
permission
Rich
to
Lamar-
reach out to the
yeah.
landowners?
Reach out to landowners,
Crossland lives,
go to the
right?
drainage board and maybe
But that
tell
means
them
these
the
houses here in town,
preferences
right?
of the town, and then you can go out there and funding
There's
through
some
Farmers
below that?
Home for grant/loan accommodation.
Sure.
Information on what this and come back to the council in November or December
Yeah.
with more information.
Boundary, we just let them out
Mhm.
of the thing because we couldn't get service.
I make a motion that we have Ken reach out to all the landowners
I'll
and
second the motion.
the drainage board,
Set a meeting.
collect the information, then meet back with us.
Yeah, set the meeting.
Do you need me to come to the?
I'll let you know what it is, if you wanna come on the 8th, on the 7th, 8 AM.
That's what I mean.
8 AM on the 7th,
Okay. 8 AM,
on the 7th.
we're at?
Drainage board, same place we met today. Thank you, all. Thank you.
Well, thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Ken.
I'll get a map showing exactly where those are, okay?
Okay.
For everything today.
Remember where Tippecanoe County is, Kim?
No, I didn't prepare, okay?
Today.
I appreciate all your
Thanks,
help
Ken.
today.
Okay.
Big day.
Hey, how about the Water Street package?
Oh, yeah, the road.
Bids in November.
Bids in November?
We'll get the bids taken in November.
Okay.
I got a little busy on something to notice.
You don't say.
Okay, Marshall's report, I got it. 4 calls to service, 0 requests for property maintenance, 8 traffic contacts, 0 citations, 8 warnings, 1 investigation, 4 calls to assist another agency, and 1 golf cart permit. The marshals would like to remind residents that harvest is in full swing and to watch out for increased in truck and farm equipment traffic. Town Marshal Randy Larimore, Deputy Marshal Jason Dunny, and Steve Mullins. Wow, let's see. Where am I?
That or down further.
We're in it now.
You wanna do the marshals, you wanna do that now
That's
or?
what we can do.
Okay. We had, I received a letter of resignation from Randy Larimore, effective as of October the 28th. He will, he requested to be let go, so not a problem there. I also received a letter from our deputy marshal, Jason, and it reads as, I have been advised that by Marshal Randy Larimore that he has turned in his resignation. Randy will be missed here in Camden, and I wish the best for all his future endeavors. Randy has also indicated to me that he would be available to answer any questions or to help the situation which may come up, and that would need help or guidance in. In light of this circumstances, I would like to request that the board considers this letter as my application to succeed Marshal Larimore as the town marshal of Camden. It is my opinion that this would be an unnoticed transaction to the people of Camden. So, we're down to Marshall again.
Do we just make a recommendation on that, or do we have to wait till after?
Can we make a motion to appoint Jason?
Effective that day.
Effective
I'll make a
October
motion to
28th.
appoint Jason to the lead marshal, head marshal, the man, on the 28th. However you say that.
Effective
Effective
October.
the 28th of October.
One second.
Now, putting out a bid for
Okay.
a new marshal, I mean, there's quite a few avenues we can go. I mean, I think,
Well, if you look at the marshal manual, which we do have, and it needs revised by the new marshal, that would be great if that were done, because it was written in
What's your first name?
1995.
It's already in the works.
The current manual is obsolete in that there's sections of it that just no longer apply, because we don't have a full-time marshal, and we don't have the benefits that the marshal gets and that kind of stuff. So it needs updating in that response. But if you do read manual, it states in there that the marshal would normally give consideration as to who he would be interested in having serve as his deputy. And then the marshal kind of makes the selection and then gets the blessing from the board, because of course the board has to do the hiring.
We have, basically, my opinion is we have Jason now, and Steve is a backup, and I would like, for the marshal to reach out to Steve and Mullen and see if hours he'd be available.
Steve's only worked maybe 80 hours this year.
I understand, but we also had, Randy and Jason. So, I mean, I think we owe it to Steve. He's been very good to Camden, at least reach out to him and see if he's interested in working more hours. We also have, I think, my opinion, we have the option of, if Jason needs more hours, is available for more hours, to see where we're at on something like that too, but I'd like to explore that closer.
Yeah.
Okay, if you do that, you have to amend your salary ordinance.
Well, I mean, we're just in exploratory right now to see where we're at and what our options are, but I think we need to explore those options also. I'm not saying we're gonna make.
I'm in agreement with you, yes. Utilities in the field, and
I feel like, well, we went almost a whole year with just one, basically, because Steve had only worked like 12 hours that one
right,
year. So he may not be available because he's taking on a new job in
right.
Dallas.
Yeah, but we do owe it to him to see if he wants some more hours. I agree.
You make that happen, Jason?
Well, also in reference to the new position, I don't know if I need to get approval, but I'd like to, post it. The academy has a website where I can post it. That way maybe we get some more active people, and then post it, not just in the comment, but some of the other surrounding newspapers, so we can draw maybe from a bigger pool.
Well, I mean, I think that would be okay. I mean, your input's gonna be important on who.
You know, I mean, if we get to that point, if we want to hire another person, then we can definitely do something like that, I think.
Okay.
Okay, Pat, this is your area.
Okay. First thing we have is the approval of the 2017 budget. Last month was the public hearing, and tonight would be the adoption of the budget, budget 2016-5, and it is as it was presented earlier. Any questions?
No, I don't. Anybody that's in the audience, get a participator.
Hold on, I got about.
Oh, good, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Watch out.
I got
She's
prime this
ready. Now,
afternoon.
did you see that? Man, she was ready. She got fired up in that county. She was ready.
She's
She's
ready. That was great.
Oh, Lord.
great.
Okay,
That's sick.
Is
I,
everything okay at LIT?
that is good.
Do you need a motion
I do.
to accept?
Accept the budget as proposed.
I make a motion to accept the budget as proposed.
Okay, when you sign, please mark the box that says,
You got a second, Andy?
Second.
oh, you already did.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye. Let's see, all of a sudden, A. Oh, all right, that's good.
When will we know the tax rates? When do you get that?
When it's actually determined, it'll be when you get your 1782 notice, and if it's like last year, we may actually have it before year end.
All right.
So we'll wait and see on that. You have your proposed rate, but you don't have anything.
And what we accept, or
Yeah.
what we set it at.
Okay, at the last meeting, the idea of switching from key budget to key fund was asked, and the matter was tabled. So I'm coming again to ask if you have an interest in changing. If you do, the cost is $5,750. One of the big benefit to key fund is that your posting is done in real time.
Is this the only, we talked about it, but I didn't hear more about it. Is this the only program that we have available that does this feature? I mean,
This is what
I
all
don't
of your
want-
budgeting is done on. And then it interacts with your payroll and your assets program.
I mean, I like the idea of the program, it seems like we're getting hit with this every so often from what I heard. or-
No, every year you pay your maintenance, you have a maintenance agreement. But this is a switch in a program from key budget to key fund.
It's a completely different program,
It's an upgrade, the same company.
and this was the one where they wouldn't,
Well, they did put out another little reminder.
Right.
Let's see. They will, how do they say it?
I know they said if we didn't pay the 5,000 for this program, it was gonna go up, but it's more or less a threat, and that's why we.
No, it's not a threat, it's just
Well,
how it is.
it's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a threat, if you don't spend it, you're gonna spend it. But it's not a direct threat, I understand.
And what's the maintenance fee, either, no matter which way we go, what's it gonna cost us to?
5,485, but now that is for your billing, your budget, asset, and payroll. So that's the 4 programs.
Then the upgrade was 5,000, how much?
$5,750. And your maintenance program will be the same, no matter if you stay on budget or keep on.
And what was that?
5,485.
Maybe 5. What is the advantage again? You're just saying it's real time, so currently,
now-
when you post something,
Okay, today I write checks.
right?
If I look up here and I look at my budget line, I'm gonna see I've got $10,000. It doesn't know that I've written this check until I update it,
And you do updates,
once a month, generally.
has it been an issue in the past? I mean, have we got down to where,
Well, it's always an issue come about November, December, because then I'm having to really watch my lines because I don't want to, really get myself in a
I'm sure there's
mess.
certain funds that get closer than others.
Right.
Very much so. And I can
Right.
always do transfers to cover.
How many line items or budget lines do we have?
Oh.
There's several, I know, too many in there.
Um,
It's all right.
yeah, I
It's just
can't
like,
give you
Just
that number.
ballpark it, 20, 30?
When you consider everything
Yeah.
and all the funds, I imagine you have well over 200.
it just seems like a lot of money for an upgrade and I'm kind of, sometimes I feel like if they do hold us hostage sometimes, just,
That's the way it feels, I mean, I get it.
It's the cost of a new program.
Right. But you know what I'm saying, you get to pay it or else kind of thing.
Well, they have been promoting this change for 5 years, and we just haven't done it. It's not new.
Well, I
It's
wish the
just-
other councils would have done it.
Well, here we are. This is what you call kicking the can down the road.
You know? That's a lot of money for a program.
Okay, when was
They
the
come and
last
train,
time?
is this the one they come and train
Yeah,
you
they're coming
on?
train. But I can't even tell you the last time the program was updated. With Key Budget, you are really looking at DOS. You're not even looking at Windows. It's a DOS program dressed to look like Windows, but it's still DOS. So it's,
do the other municipalities in the county use this?
Burlington is making the switch. They made that approval at their last meeting.
And it's the same cost, $5,700?
Theirs might be a little different because it depends on what they have as far as their costs, what they do with it. Delphi switched a few years ago. Flora uses a different program. And Yeoman is on paper.
On paper.
Paper.
Oh my God.
Holy mackerel.